All right. Good morning. Good morning. Carla, I saw you vibe into the intro video. Ain't it dope?
Yes, I love it.
Yes, I love my intro video. Lisa, what you think about my video?
I loved it. I felt like I was in a movie theater.
I was like, oh,
Yes.
purple smoke. I like how it
Yes.
starts in the lavender field with the black girl in the lavender field. Like, she's relaxed. She's meditating. I love that.
Yes. It just puts me in a mood.
It was a
Mm.
move.
Yes, in a mood. So hopefully we all will be in a mood and not a somber mood. I know today's topic is a bit, can be heavy for some people, especially if they're walking through it. But I think I have two dynamic women on here who can just kind of help us navigate the conversation. But before I get into that, let me introduce myself for those of you who are new to the show. My name is Zanita Ellison. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and what do we call this? The podcast host for the Mindful Over Matters, where we curate conversations around intentional living. And so today I have two lovely guests. I have my fellow Blast podcast family member, Miss Crazy Carla.
Hello, everyone. Salutations.
Listen, Carla is something else. Okay. I saw her from a distance, but to be in real time with her is a different story. She had the audacity to bring me on her show Thursday to talk about something serious, but as crazy as she is, I'm like, how am I supposed to be serious when you are hilarious? And I love to laugh. But Miss Carla does her thing every Thursday, Carla?
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So tune in for those of you who have not. And then I have my great, best, wonderful friend, cousin, family, sister, Miss Lisa Knight.
Hey.
Lisa, you're gonna have your sultry voice on today.
Hey. Good morning.
Listen, Lisa is my homie. Okay, we've known each other since we were like what? Babies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
We were babies. We went to the same church, went to the same daycare. We know each other our whole lives. Our family know each other. And we have certainly been each other's therapists. Okay. So Lisa is my bootleg therapist. We do telehealth together. Hey, Soul Rest Music.
Look at there. Look, he done hooked us all up. Shout out to Soul Rest.
Yes, Soul Rest produced. Yes, he produced the track. Yes.
It was really nice. It was hot.
Our Veep did the video. Yes. So the combination of the track and the video just put me in the right place. It gave me exactly what I asked for. So thank y'all.
He did mine too. He did my music for my intro too.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yes, absolutely. So we want to make sure we give him his props because he deserves it. So again, we have our two guests today, and today we are going to have a conversation surrounding divorce. But I would like to call it thriving through divorce. Because honestly, I don't know your story, Carla. Lisa, I know yours, and in mine, I'm also a divorcee. Well, a divorcer. I did a divorce, but we'll talk about it later. And so I understand the impact, but we all had to get to a place to where we learned how to thrive through our divorce. And so we are going to talk about what that looked like for each of you ladies. But before we start, I always like to ask my guest, since this is a conversation around intentional living, how do you define living intentional? Anybody go first?
Everything has meaning, right? So everything is intentional, meaning that every space that we hold, whoever we hold it for, we're not just frivolous with our time and our energy. So at least for me, when I talk about intentionality, I want to make sure the folks that get my time and attention, that they matter to me, I matter to them, and that it's reciprocated. So that's what, to me, that's what that means when I hear you say that.
Nice, nice. So mindful of your time, who gets it, how they get it, that it's reciprocated, that you're not just the person given the intentional time, but you also receive it. Yeah,
Mhm,
that's
absolutely.
important. Carla.
Well, I would say that I make it my business to live a life full of joy. I am very intentional about projecting joy and feeling joy. I know some people can't be happy 24/7, but you can have joy because the Bible says so. You can have joy without being happy. And so I intentionally live a life of joy. I live a life where I feel like I should be laughing, or I laugh at things that maybe I shouldn't laugh at because, I just feel like I intentionally purpose to have joy. And when you have joy in life, it sets the tone for everything else. So I
Yes.
intentionally walk through life in a joyful fashion as much as I can.
Yeah, that's good. And you exuberate that. Like you always smiling and you have like this natural joyous spirit. But not only do you create it for yourself, but you create it for other people as a comedian. Your work, your gifts is to bring joy, not just live in joy, but to bring joy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So I like to start with some statistics, right? Because I'm a data type of person. So in 2021, y'all, a total of 689,308 divorces occurred across the 45 United States. Only 45 states reported it, right? 689,308. So during that same year, 1,985,072 marriages occurred, making the US marriage rate 6 per 1,000 people. So per 1,000 people, 6 people get married. But out of that, 689,000 of them get divorced. Okay. That was in 2021. However, the divorce rate actually decreased from 2000 to 2021. Why do y'all think that is? Why? I put in my research brain, but why do y'all think divorce is actually decreased from 2000 to 2021?
COVID. People was in the house and they had to really start talking to each other. They was in there with each other. They had to start going to therapy.
Yeah.
And the things that make a healthy any kind of relationship really helped, I think, people in divorce, because you in there with this person, y'all can't go nowhere. So you had to sort it out. You really had to sort it out. And that's probably what happened, because that was COVID time, right? I call it COVID.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a divorce even if you wanted to. Courts had shut down, so it's like they made you sit with each other and figure it out, at least for a little while. Yeah. So I'm thinking that's why the rates went down. What you say, Lisa?
Yeah, I'm just listening to Carla, and she's absolutely right, because now you're forced into this space where you can't avoid, right? So, our work may pull us apart, sports, whatever commitments we have in the community, organization. So those things keep us busy. Even work, we can just go to the office and don't have to deal. So by the time you come back home, it's like, okay, whatever, you're in your routine. But like she said, Covitra forced you into that shared space. So it's like, dang, he really does bother me, or she really does get on my nerves. Like those things really stand out when you're forced into that space. And then when the pandemic, well, we're still kind of in it, but when the pandemic kind of fizzled out, now it's like, okay, we're not as tense or whatever, back to our way of work. But I absolutely agree with Carla that the pandemic, I think, was one of the root causes of the numbers to spike.
Yeah, well, the numbers decreased.
decreased.
Yeah, for the
Well,
numbers to
spike
decrease.
after the pandemic and then decrease after, exactly. So spike during and then decrease after.
Yeah, it decreased the rates. Then the rates went down because people couldn't. And then I think that we tried. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of couples just tried to say, okay, let's see what we can do within these whatever 6 months. More facts. Half of all marriages end in divorce. Now, this is true for first time marriages, right? So people who've never been married before, statistics show that half of those marriages will end in divorce. Now, if you are like me, second and third marriages actually fail at a higher rate. You are more likely to fail at your second and third marriage than you would your first. Isn't that crazy? To me, I would think, okay, I've learned, I've realized some of the things that I do, or I know how to do it differently. People always think experience is the best teacher, but not really, because you could experience the same experiences over and over and over again if there is no intentionality in changing. Right?
Right.
Yes. So I mean, I could go to those numbers and say why I think it is. And what I see with couples, think about it. If you know you can get out of something, even if it was hell to get out of, it's almost like that taboo of once you married for life is lifted. It's like, no, this is just a contract that can be broken at any time. I think we become like, it's almost like we become less committed to the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we see it as it's revocable. Yep. So that's just some statistics, and I'll get into more. But both of you obviously were married. So if you would just kind of share, like, how long were you married before your divorce?
Well, we were married 10 years, but we were together 17. Like, we literally started dating in January. We moved in together on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
We started like in a month, really. And we were together 7 years. We had children. I raised his two children. We had two. We got married on our 7th anniversary of living together on Valentine's Day. And we were married for 10 years. And even though we're divorced, we're still friends. We get along just fine. He live over there. I live over here. And, we got kids and grandkids, so we get along. It wasn't like, it was, we'll talk about that. When you said surviving divorce, girl, that hit me. Because I never thought about that. Like, I am a divorce survivor. Because you don't realize when you're going through a divorce that you're going like literally, like it's a traumatic experience. Even if you decided, hey, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Girl, when them papers came, we had been separated 3 years before we even got a divorce. Girl, I had a man living up in my house, child, and all the things. You hear me? I ain't give a thing. I was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But the minute I got them papers, girl, I flew for like an hour and a half. I could not get it together.
Wow. And you had moved on with your life and everything, but it was something about getting those papers. What did that mean? Like, what was it about you getting served those divorce documents that set you back?
It was just like, what in the Kelly Cook's on your show.
You can. Yes, you can.
I was like, what in the hell? Really, because my grandparents were married 50 years. I come from a family full of long marriages. My mom and dad were, and it's ironic, my mom and dad were married 10 years before my mama divorced him. And I didn't think about it until after I had did it, how we repeat patterns. And I was like, I come from all these healthy marriages, but a lot of times, ladies, gentlemen, we marry people that we chose and that God didn't choose.
Hello.
So you out here marrying somebody because you got pregnant, you don't want to say you shaking up, all these whatever reasons you have. And girl, look, I said she gonna cry when she get her divorce.
I freedom.
Hey, Sunshine.
I'm coming down there. We gonna go party, girl.
Come on, Sunshine.
But it was kind of traumatic for me because I was like, I feel like I failed at something, and I hate failing.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
there is
know?
this sense of failure. Even if you weren't the person that was wrong or even asked for the divorce, or you were, it's like, dang, I couldn't make it work. I couldn't make him, I couldn't make her, and so
Mhm.
it's this sense of failure. And I think that's why a lot of people, before they even get divorced, they may separate for a long time out of denial because it's like, I'm not ready to really deal with the fact that this is over, or we really did fail. Yeah. Soul Rest Music says my sister created a divorce
Wow.
shrine in her house.
In her house.
Interesting. A divorce shrine. I wonder what that looked like.
I know.
Tell us more about that.
That's
That's interesting.
interesting.
So,
Oh, that was good.
Lisa, how long were you
Mhm.
married for? How long were you married before you got divorced?
Very similar to Carla, right? So we did 18 years and we were married for 15.
Wow.
Yeah, been married for 15. And so similar to you, Carla, we started early. I was young. My parents were still paying for everything when I was in college. So I met this guy and he was everything to me. I'm like, wow, he's smart. He's in a fraternity. I had nothing to offer, right? So yeah, you couldn't tell me nothing, honey. So, when I look back, when I was the 21-year-old version of Lisa, what value did I bring other than almost having a degree from USF, right? And then when you look at this new version of Lisa, 2023, about to be called Dr. Lisa next year,
Hey.
it's just a different version of me. And
Yes.
so, right. So I look at the whole process of who I was when I met him, who I am now.
Yeah.
And so when the divorce came, it was a shock to me. Some women are like, how did you not see the signs? Everything was status quo. Everything was status quo. And it took me and my village to do some research to kind of peel back the layers and figure out what was really happening before the divorce showed itself. But it was a shock. And it was a gut punch. It was a gut punch because, like you, Carla, my parents have been together for 50 years, right? And so when you see those long-term marriages, that's all you know, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, right? Because that's what's modeled to us. So when you're in these spaces for your whole life or half of your life, and when my uncles did it, my aunts did it, my parents are doing it, my grandparents did it, I'm going to do it, happy or not. Whether I'm wavering or not, compromised or not, whatever that looks like. So we find ourselves in these spaces that our elders have taught us to be in, right? And we don't know if it's good or bad. We just know this is what we're supposed to do because the Bible says so. This is what the church say we're supposed to do. This is what our family say we're supposed to do. And so you have to kind of unlearn all those toxic teachings too, throughout the divorce process. And man, I look at the process has been like a roller coaster, and I'm thankful for Z, my built-in therapist, and my village, because you can't do divorce alone. Number one, it's impossible. I don't know how people do it and come out with a healthy mindset because it's so exhausting. And like,
wait.
Sorry.
Listen, y'all rolling in that. I love it. But we gonna slow. That's okay. That's
girl. Now I was gonna say, and when you come from that, your family, I only had like one or two people who like, Carla, do what's best for you. Because even my own mama was like, well, Carla, I mean, are you, you gonna break your vows and and I was like, listen, I've looked at y'all's unequally yoked marriages for long enough.
Come on, Carla.
Because it's one thing for you to be married 50 years, but what the hell did you go through to keep that man?
Yeah.
Come on, Carla.
Yeah.
I don't want no parts of it. Okay. And so I stepped out on faith, literally, with my daughters. I mean, it was a whole process.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was crazy.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I totally understand. Unfortunately, I wasn't married half as long as y'all. My first marriage was 2 years. I married somebody, let's just be real, I barely knew. I got pregnant from him my senior year of college. My pastor at the time told me to right my wrong and marry him. I said, sir, I barely know him. He said, that's okay. I said, I don't love him. He said, love will come. Love never came. What came was trauma, heartache, adultery, all kind of stuff. And so when we divorced, when I finally, listen, he cheated on me so many times, and I would pray. I was very spiritual. I say, Lord, like, I know he doing it again. Like, just let me leave. And he kept saying, not yet. I would fast and pray. And by noon, every time I fast and pray, he'll say, not yet, not yet. I'm thinking, well, what more I got to go through? But at that time, like, things were getting in order. Like, things were getting in place for me to be released, because I didn't have no money. I was I wasn't a single mom. I was a new mom. And so I was barely making enough money to take care of me and my daughter. So when I look back, things were kind of being put in position before I was released. But the day I left him was the day of my daughter's second birthday party. And a lady followed me to the grocery store and said, I know that car. You're in my boyfriend's car. And I said, your boyfriend is my husband. Tell me more. And, you know, in that moment, I heard God say, now you can go. And I never looked back. So unfortunately, my marriage only lasted 2 years the first time. 3 years later, me being a love addict, and we'll get into that a different show. We'll talk about love addictions. I married someone again from the church. You know, we both love the Lord. We were in the choir, this and that. Everybody thought we should get together. And I loved him, but like as the homie, I didn't love him in love with him. And I married him, and I became the worst version of myself. For 7 years, I stayed, and I felt like I was going to literally die in this marriage. I'm like, I made this bed, so I'm going to lay it. I'm going to die in this bed. And he didn't cheat, nothing like that. But it was just, we were so unequally yoked and so mixed match that I was miserable. So to my point I'm making is, I didn't have that long-term marriage. But my parents were married 15 years before my daddy left my mom for another woman. And so singing that, I was like, ooh, to me, that said, it doesn't matter how long you can be with a person. They still can hurt you. They still can leave you. It still could fail. And so I went through life. I would fail the relationships before it failed me, because I didn't want to go through that pain. Long-term relationships didn't mean stability to me. And so hearing, you know, y'all's story, you know, I think it's true. You could be with somebody 15, 18 years, love at first sight. Y'all hit it off, and things still could fall apart. Okay. I missed all the comments. Troy, if you could bring the comments back so I can recap them. But I saw Sunshine said some things. Sophia said some things, but looked like everybody resonated with what we're saying. So true, Carla. There is an extreme sense of loss and failure, especially when there's expectations from family.
From the family.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't the family put that pressure and that guilt on you?
I don't care. That's my problem. I'll be like, I don't care about what y'all think. That's where I get in trouble.
No, that's good though.
But yeah,
that's good, because I care too much.
I care about my mama, but not with nobody else. Basically, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
This is the
divorce
shrine,
shrine.
y'all. This is the divorce shrine.
Child.
Dang.
Is that her divorce decree?
I don't know. It looked like it.
Listen,
Sunshine says she separated a year. He agreed to divorce initially, then flipped. The moment you're violent, you're done. Absolutely.
That's right. Non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
and I can, you know, I could tell the story. My cousin, through marriage, was married to my cousin, and they were together almost 30 years. But girl, he put his hands on her, and she was like, "You out of here," because she saw her mama grow up getting beat, and she was like, "One thing you won't do, sir, and I told you from the jump. If you ever put your hands on me, you out of here." And I guess he thought it was a game. She 30 years, she washed her hands, and she been living her best life ever since.
Yeah, because you can't predict that stuff. You don't know if they'll ever do it again. Do you really want to take that risk on your life? Yeah, I get that. So what would y'all say was the best and the worst parts of your marriage? Because, you know, we can, even though the marriage ended, there were some things that were beautiful about our union, right? What would you say was the best part of your marriage?
Well, I mean, my ex has the best thing about him is that, and I can still say we had a lot of fun together. Like, our house was the house where everybody came and ate. I cooked. We entertained. We were the entertaining couple. We had people over. We had little soirees. Everybody, kids came to our house. You know, we went places. You know, and the main thing about my ex-husband that I haven't really experienced with any other person is my ex-husband literally ran me down from day one. He was like, oh my God, I got to have you. You're gonna be mine. And I was like, what? When I met him, like, sir, you is not. But but he was good to look at, honey. Ooh, now one thing about listen, baby, that thing, honey, but even now people be like, oh, that's your ex-husband. I be like, yeah, that thing pretty, ain't it? It's pretty. You know, and so we had our good moments, but when you are your mama's precious lamb, like he is, and he think he Jesus walking on water, and that you supposed to cater to his every need, and you out here moving like a single parent, working 2 and 3 jobs, and you come home and he's sitting in the house with his damn shades and flip flops on, watching TV, man. That thing didn't go to church with me. People at church thought I was lying when I said I had a husband, girl. One day my kids came home and said, Mom, brother so-and-so asked us, was you really married?
Because they never saw him.
He would never come to church. Now, he came to church like twice when our kids had like a performance, because my children were praise dancers, and I told you I taught Sunday school for a long time. I did prison ministry. Like, I was heavily in the church, which also was a part of our marriage breaking up, because when you are moving in church and religious circles and you got a person who's not, you have to understand that you have to spend time with your husband. And me, I let the church come between us, because there were some times where I should have just really told that church, you know, my husband at home. Right. And I'm gonna see y'all next Sunday or next Wednesday or next, you know, and a lot of people don't know how to balance church and having a spouse who don't do church. Right. Some people do it very well, but I didn't. And I'll be honest, it was a conflict for me.
Yeah, that's a good point, Carla. I think honestly, not a lot of people do it well. And that's why, you know, the Bible talks about being unequally yoked, because it brings that separation, because it's almost like you feel like you got to choose, right? And there's this religious guilt that we put on ourselves, to where if I put my man over God, because, you know, say it's God first. And so we take that literal. But at the same time, God also values the institution of marriage and the husband as the head. And so it becomes very murky when we have to feel like we choosing between our spirituality or our religion or our God and our partner, you know, and so it often pulls couples apart. Lisa, what was the best and the worst parts of your marriage?
The best. Well, when I was young and had nothing to offer, he was the life of the party. So that was a big deal for me. He was the life of the party, center of attention. He's this alpha. And I love that. Girl. Like I recognize too, my daddy was like that. So I draw men like my daddy, but he was just this guy that drew attention. And I loved the attention that I got because of what he drew in. So he was always the fun guy, funny guy. And we did a whole bunch of firsts together. You know, it took us a while to have kids. So we went through all the infertility stuff together, did a whole bunch of traveling together, got my first passport because of him, really learned about budgeting because of him. So I'm grateful for the good times, because a part of this new lease is because of the things I went through in my marriage, right? But it's those other pieces too, those unhealed wounds that happen in your childhood that show up in your adult decisions and in your marriages. And so when I hear the word like trauma bond, I oftentimes go back and think like, man, did we just kind of fulfill each other's trauma bond when we met so young? Was it love at first sight? Does that even exist? Does it coexist? And so it was those moments that I didn't like, the control piece or the narcissistic piece that would come out in different ways. But you know, when you marry, you just compromise. Oh, that's just how he is, or whatever, whatever. And you really adapt to those characteristics, not being able to label the characteristics, not being able to understand the characteristics. So you're like, whatever, because remember, our elders have taught us you're in it. So regardless of whatever these characteristics are, you're in it. And so those things that weren't so nice were those things where I couldn't break through. And I noticed where our conversation started to change, the more I started to evolve, right? I was no longer the 21-year-old Lisa. Now I'm evolving into this own person, this mom, this professional, this person that has her own identity.
Right.
And I recognize that can become very intimidating to alpha men, right? And not just his fraternity, but he's an alpha man, and sometimes successful women have alpha characteristics, and that can very well be intimidating. Even though I'm soft, I love being soft. I don't want to always be a decision maker, and I believe that men should lead, but that can be intimidating when women get their own identity. They can make decisions on their own, and they can navigate spaces without having to have a man do all those things for them. So that's what really made it tough.
I think into what you said, I think real alpha men don't become intimidated by the strength of their woman. I think that's more of a beta man characteristic, to where you feel, because alpha men don't shrink, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like they know how to acknowledge your strengths, but they also know how to deal with you or deal with you in a place to where they could acknowledge your strengths, but at the same time still be that leader, still be that dominant person in the relationship. So that alpha man stuff, I'm still trying to understand. We have to have a man on the show next time to just kind of break that down, what that really looks like, and because I don't know. But good stuff. So we are at our midpoint already. So during this time, Lisa, we do our artists. We feature our artists of is it the day, Carla, or the week?
The week.
Okay, our artists of the week. So V, go ahead and bring us in.
Yes, indeed. Great show once again. I'm not surprised. It was awesome stuff. We got our boy once again. This is my guy, Elijah Rosario, and this one is called Best
Leather
of Me.
Pants.
One of my favorite songs, but this is Elijah, Best of Me.
Say what's on your mind, tell it like it is. Is there something in your heart, wanting part in it? If that's the case, then girl, just say so. Games, I ain't tryna play those. Know you protective of your heart. Know you healing from them scars. Well, how about tonight we just put all our worries aside? Take advantage of this moment. Hold me tight, I'm talking coldly. I've been seeing clearly lately. Ain't no guarantee, just maybe. One thing that I'm certain of, I can't live without your touch, no. Kiss me like the first time that we met. Love me like we'll never love again. I'll save you every time before myself. Don't want nobody else. Give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. I feel like nothing else matters when you laying next to me. When you laying next to me, give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. I feel like nothing else matters when you laying next to me. I'll give you the best of me.
Don't wanna waste no time. You know a good girl's really hard to find. You've been heavy on my mind. Boy talk is cheap, but I'll wait in line. Love the way I move to the baseline, waistline. Bad girl, not only on FaceTime. You know true love really takes time. Can't find a love if you ain't mine, no. Watch me wind it slow. Watch you lose control. Just wanna let you know this is how the thing goes. Make them spend 6 figures on the bling. African bad girl deserve the finer things. Private jets, baguettes, and diamond rings. Summertime drop top money ain't a thing like what it seemed like.
Kiss me like the first time that we met. Love me like we'll never love again. I'll save you every time before myself. Don't want nobody else. Give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. I feel like nothing else matters when you laying next to me. When you laying next to me, give you the best of me. I know you ain't need a feeling, not just talking sexually. You like to dance in the mirror, you do it so graciously. you laying next to me. I'll give you the best of me.
Yes, indeed. And that was my boy Elijah Rosario with Best of Me. And if you are an independent artist or even a spoken word poet or up and coming comedian that would like some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But understand, Blast is not just for the artists, but it's also for the fans of music. So fans, if you want to hear great up and coming artists, comedians, spoken word poets, that's blastmusic247.com. And it's free. So go ahead and check it out. All right. Let me switch some stuff around. Working on the iPhone is a little different. And I love y'all.
I'm going to submit me a song.
That was nice. I was vibing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
He make
that
good
one.
music. Me too. I like his vibe.
That was really nice.
Leather pants. Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, so we were talking about the best and the worst of relationships. I want to go back to some more data. So, top reasons why people divorce. So, lack of commitment was 75%. Lack of commitment. People just doing it and feeling like it's something they can get in and get out of.
Wow.
Yep, 75%. Infidelity or extramarital affairs were 60%. Too much conflict and arguing was 58%. Getting married too young, 45%. Financial problems, 37%. Substance abuse, 35%. Domestic violence, 24%. Lack of support from family, 18%. Health problems, 17%. Religious differences, only 13%. And then little or no premarital education, 13%. So what y'all think about those numbers? Lack of commitment was 75%.
Why get married if you're not going to be committed? I never understood that. Or even be in a relationship with somebody. Why say I'm with this person and then you're going to do all the stuff? Because it's a whole nother show. But I know plenty of married men who, child, if I flip my inbox inside out, shit. Listen, it's plenty of married men out here who think they still single.
Yes, very true. Oh, they got this thing to where I get, this is what I get. I'm separated, but they still live in the house with their wife.
Girl, no ma'am.
Maybe you're separated in your mind, but you're not separated literally. So that's what I get. I'm separated, but they still with their woman. They live in the house.
It's for the kids. Honey, you better come out from in there.
It's for the kids.
Or I'm going through a divorce, but ain't nothing filed yet.
Okay, that's another.
I felt divorced. Yeah. Okay, Jack.
Oh, it's hard in these streets. Ugh. The data pool have pee in it, but that's a whole other,
everything else.
That's a whole other conversation. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I'm gonna make it through the month of February. We're gonna talk about love, but we're gonna talk about this dating pool too. Anyway, so
what
I'm sure. I don't know.
Carla, that's what I said.
I don't even want to put my feet in the water. That's my thing, because
it's scary. It is
these
scary.
men don't know how to act, honey.
It is scary out here. And I hear from the men how the women are. They're like, these women ain't bought nothing. They energy off. They got multiple men. They want you to pay for stuff and they don't want. So I think men and women are struggling in general to find a healthy connection, a healthy partner. And then we go, when we think we got something, that too ends. So anyway, that, you know, we're going to talk about surviving and thriving divorce. So what was, and I got to move quickly because I got so many questions, but only 20 minutes left. So what was life like for both of you after, like initially after you were divorced? What was life like for you?
I'm still lifing after divorce. Mine is fairly new. So we separated in 2021 when the divorce was filed, and it was finalized in 2022. Life after is life is. So So my village and my family have really been my anchor. My village, my family, my therapist. I'm getting ready to get back in therapy so I can continue to make better decisions in this space. But so it's pros and cons to it, because you don't really realize what you had until it's gone. And so I'm one of those traditional women where men lead in every way. So now I'm having to do a whole bunch of operational stuff I never had to do. I'm paying all the bills. I'm managing my house. When things break, either I learn how to fix it or I have to pay for somebody to fix it. I cut my yard. I'm doing all this stuff that my ex used to do. And so it's like, dang, it's a gut punch every time you're in that realization. But it's also empowering, like, dang, I'm her. Like, dang, I know how to fix this, and I got a drill set from Ace Hardware, and I'm doing things I never had to do, right? And so and the part of this process is the gut punch, but it's also empowering. And it's a balance, trying to find that balance. Like, man, this is all so good. Like, man, I miss having a partner that can do all these things, but it sure feels good that when this happens, now I know how to navigate this space. So I'm still in the thick of it. And I'm just grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for my village, and I'm moving in that direction with a positive lens. So that's my story.
Nice. You said, like, because it's so new, you said your life after is your life now. Like, this is new for you, and you are having to figure it out. And with me knowing you personally, you figured it out quick. You know, your adjustment was very quick, and you it's like, hey, it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do. And not a lot of women are able to really get to that place as quick as you were able to.
Yes, Sophia.
Yeah.
Yes, Sophia says, yes, Lisa, I'm there with you. It is empowering and exhausting all at the same time. Yes.
Especially when you have kids too. It's just like, I mean, for me, I never really had like the marriage like other people. My ex-husband didn't do anything except go to work. Now he go to work and he paid half. My entire marriage was living with a man who would pay half and only half. He paid half the rent, mortgage. He paid, he was not like other women's husband. I never had the luxury of having a man pay my bills. I've never had it. Never, ever. So us getting divorced was not a situation. For me, it was the sex. Because whether I was happy, man, sad, or glad, honey, we was going to get it in. You hear me? And then you ain't got that flesh over there to touch now. And you don't have the person just literally in the house so you can bounce stuff off of, because you can't bounce stuff off your children like you can an adult. And even though it was dysfunctional at times, he was there. I knew when I came home, he was going to be there, or he was coming home. So for me, it was the loneliness of it all. And it's been 11 years. I've been divorced 11 years.
Wow.
We were separated 3 years, so almost 15 years. And then I had a dysfunctional relationship or 2. I was in a situationship off and on for almost 8 years with a person who to this day never committed to me, but he don't want to see nobody else with me. So I finally got the courage to like cut that off.
Good for you. Good for you.
But it's just everybody's marriage is different. You don't know. Like, I have friends who their husbands be looking like, what do you mean your husband didn't wash your car? He said he didn't drive the car, so he wasn't washing it. And his friends clowned him one time. They were like, yo, let's go wash our lady's car. He was like, what you mean? And you could tell he was embarrassed, because they was like, what you mean you don't wash our car? She take care of your kids and cook for everybody. Like, they was like, Carla, give me the keys. I wash your car. So he was so embarrassed because his other homeboys would point out how he was not a man. Like, you're not a man, yo. What you mean you don't pay for your wife? Your wife do everything. We wish we had a wife like your wife.
Wow.
But he was literally my roommate when it came to that. I had a roommate.
Wow.
He lost his job one time. Girl, let me tell you, he didn't talk to me for a week because he had to pay an entire light bill one time.
Okay.
And so that's why I was like, baby, when I got free from that, it was like that lifted off me. I was like, you know what? Nothing's changed as far as that, because I'm gonna take care of me. I've been taking care of myself since I was 16 years old, keeping it real. I've been on my own that long.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So for
Wow.
me, I'm the total opposite. If I get with a man,
Yeah.
I gotta really pull myself and tuck myself in the corners because I always feel like a man trying to get over on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it created like this trust versus mistrust when it came to men, because it's like, how are you going to contribute to my life? What are you going to take from me? What do you
Right. Yeah.
know? What
Yeah.
now I look at this, what will my recovery look like after you?
Come on, recovery.
Girl,
It's crazy,
yes.
for some men, and that's almost like the lens you have to look at. Like, if I deal with you, what will my recovery look like?
Child, come on.
What will I have to recover
on.
from? And that's for
What?
men and for women. Men, y'all ask yourselves
Yeah.
the same time. When you meet a
Yes.
woman, she look good, body straight, whether it's maid or bought. What will I have to recover from? I'm just
Come
saying.
on, Boat.
I'm just saying.
Honey.
Partially bought body. I had a tummy tuck, so my body partially bought. I guess I could see that.
Oh, I wish I could get one, Lord. Girl,
Yeah,
that's the only thing on my body I don't like, girl.
My kids tore my stomach up, and I didn't realize that it was bad.
They'll do
so yes,
They'll do it.
yep.
Mm.
But that's also another podcast. Anyway, so okay, so you all talked about life after divorce. What would you say you learned about yourself as a result of your divorce?
I'm definitely stronger than I thought I was.
Stronger than what you thought you were. Lisa, what'd you learn about yourself?
Exactly what Carla just said, like in every way, and still learning. Like every time something breaks, I'm like, here we go. And I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful to be a homeowner. And it's a nice size house, but it's a nice size responsibility to come with it.
I'm sure.
And I have to sit in gratitude. Like, I'm like, okay, gosh, when every time something breaks, I get anxiety, like, here we go. But I'm grateful. And I'm like, you can do this. And I have to just keep reminding myself, you can do this. You're positioned for this. You are placed in this position. You can do this, Lisa. And like Carla said, I am learning how strong I am. Even on the days when I feel like your little piece, Lizzie, in your living room, on the days where I'm like, I don't want to do it today. I don't want to be strong. I don't want to be strong.
Yeah.
But it's teaching me how strong I am. And I just use that as an example because home ownership to me is so exhausting. Like it's rewarding, but it's always something. And, but it's teaching me that I can do it in different ways, not just financially, not just, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's just teaching me a lot about myself, my capacity, my bandwidth. And I'm grateful for it. I am grateful for it.
What about love? What would you say you've learned about love since your divorce?
So in this process, I learned that I was a love addict and I was codependent on my partner, my ex-husband. So I'm learning how to unlearn toxic traits that carried over from the younger version of Lisa. I'm relearning how to love myself appropriately, unapologetically, and giving myself grace. And I'm learning how to be open to love again. Like the divorce was such a gut punch. And the way that my ex moved and how he did things or whatever, it was like a slap in the face. It's like, do I want to do that again? Do I want to put myself in a position to give my all to somebody for that to happen again?
To take that risk.
To take that risk.
Yeah, to take that risk.
I invested
Love is a risk
in him. It's a risk. I invested everything. So I'm learning how to be hopeful and I'm learning how to be optimistic. I'm not there yet, but that's a part of my healing journey where I'm allowing myself, can I love again? Will somebody get that part of Lisa? Because right now they haven't got it.
That's good. Okay. Carla, what'd you learn about love after your divorce?
I learned how to love me. I learned that I will, through the good and the bad, I'm going to always be here for me. I don't know about, even though right now, 11 years later, y'all, I can't say when it comes to love with somebody else, I don't know. I know what I will and will not accept at this point now. I do know that. I do. That is what I learned about love, and I learned that I learned my love language,
Mm.
and I learned how to communicate my love language languages, because when I was married, actually, y'all, if y'all know the 5 love languages, well, Gary Chapman is right here in Winston-Salem. So I went to the seminar right when all this was coming out, and then it was right before I got divorced, actually. And I was like, oh, we got to learn our love languages. And he was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But then when I realized we both had the same love language primarily, but it was the underlying stuff. Like for me, physical touch is a love language. I'm a hugger. I like to touch people's hands. I like to kiss, like I'm the person that's always touching on somebody. And I had to learn how to be like, is it okay if I touch you? Because I'm a toucher and I like to be touched. To me, it makes sense, right? So when you start getting out here and being an adult and learning that everybody does not love the way you love, and are you going to accept it or not accept it? That's what I learned. Like, is that something I want to deal with? Their form of love.
Okay, but I love how you said you learned your love language and how to communicate that. Yeah, that's important, because we put ourselves in positions, especially women, to where we look at how can we contribute to the man whose life we're in, but what about the value of what they contribute to us? How much do we value what our needs are versus fulfilling needs? What about getting our needs met? So I got this thing. What I say, needs over neediness. A lot of us can be needy, but does that mean it's a real need? And how do you know the difference? So I like that. That's good. Yeah. So they say a total of 64% of men and 52% of women get married again after their marriage has ended. Would you all get married again? I would. I'll just break the silence. I would. As I said, I know I have commitment issues to an extent, because I look at the things I've had to recover from when it came to failed relationships, and my recovery time from my second failed marriage was deep, and I still feel like I feel like I'm still in it, because I haven't had that successful relationship yet. So I remember saying, God, are you still punishing me? Because I was the one who was unfaithful. I was the one who left my second husband. And I was like, dang, am I still being punished 5 years from now for that decision, because I haven't had a successful loving relationship? And I'm like, do I really want to do this again, just in case it fails? And so for me, although there is a lot of anxiety around it, I do want to do it again. I don't want to have a boyfriend for the rest of my life. I want to be partnered, but I want to be partnered under marriage and under covenant. It's just me. But do y'all want to do it again?
Now, I would love to have some sanctified sex now. Because when it's honey, when you marry her, you can be like, I can do everything. But I would love to have some sanctified sex again.
I love Carla.
Do you see Carla?
I'm sorry. I would just love to do that again.
Real. Like, that's a Christian woman. You just breathe, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best. But I don't know. I just listen. Don't answer me the question, because I want
to know though. Maybe so you're not there yet. Maybe you're not there yet.
I don't know. I just feel like I haven't met the man who is willing to give me what I need. And it's not just like, if I tell you I have a problem with a man not doing things for me, and then you come in here and try to mold me into something else, because every man I have ever dated has tried to turn me into his mama or his idea of what, the situationship. To this day, he's always, why don't you cut your hair? It's not professional.
Carla, has any ever tried to dim your light, because your personality is so big? Do you meet me like shrink? Yeah, I could see that.
Actually, the guy that I was with a dude for a month maybe, and this has been years ago. But he was all, oh, I love the fact that you're a comedian and an actress and all this stuff. But baby, about around that third week, I started seeing he couldn't handle it. He could not handle it. He could not handle the fact that I have a lot of guy friends, literally friends. He could not handle the fact that, you know, we would go out in public and people be like, crazy Carla. He couldn't take it. He could not take it. And he told me, there's just too many people in your face every time we go somewhere. And I'll be like, well, baby, it's only gonna get worse.
Okay.
So what you want to do? And I lowered my standards for him because he had raggedy teeth, and I knew better. You know, I can't date no man whose teeth ain't right. You know, we always compromising for them. But, you know, some things are a deal breaker for me. If you can buy $500 shoes, fix your mouth, please.
Thank you. Because to me, if you neglect your dental health, that sends something to me. That sends a message to me.
Or just try. I mean, you know, or at least camouflage your raggedy teeth. You know, smile with your lip covering up your bottom teeth if your bottom teeth raggedy up or whatever. But, you know, do something.
Yeah,
don't be trying to make me be the Barbie doll and you sitting over here looking like broke down Ken. Come on,
Ken.
Broke down Ken. So that's usually said that it's hard for us as creatives to. I can't remember exactly what he said.
He said to marry a non-creative.
To marry a non-creative, because we have this different side to us, and it attracts different people, and we have this big personality, and you know it often gets misinterpreted, and people want to dim our lights, or they just don't get it. Yeah, they just don't get it. Yep.
Yeah.
So true.
I want to respond to Carla.
Which part?
I want to respond to a couple of things she said about dimming your light and people trying to change you. I'm noticing, Carla, in this space, and Z knows this, that I'm checking off all the boxes for these men, and they're not checking off at least half of them for me. And so I'm open to marriage.
You choose them anyway.
I choose them anyway. That's why I got to go back to therapy.
That's common. Like that goes back to we look at what we can do for them versus what they can do for us.
Because we're nurturers.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, literally, like to me, being with a man means, baby, what you want? You know what I'm saying? What can Carla do for you, homie? You know what I'm saying? But I had to put my brakes on that because I was like, you don't get to get that from me. That has been my error in the past. You don't get to get that from me. You don't get to come up in here and get this good cooking, baby. You don't get to come get this good, you know what else. You don't get that, well, maybe. But I'm just saying, we got to learn how to put some boundaries in place. You hear me?
Yes.
It's wrong.
We do. Yes. So to answer your question, Z, would I be open to getting married again? I would, if I found the person that is ready and prepared for me.
What does that mean? I don't know. It makes me kind of feel crazy when we say find.
Or
because
church me, has us messed up. I'm not even looking no more. I'm not, because the dating pool,
I'm definitely not. Like if it comes in, it does.
Trash.
Yeah. But I mean, God, you know, you're right. So to find, like they say, women shouldn't go looking, men supposed to find us or whatever. And I think, you know, they always say, oh, it happens when you are not looking or expecting it. Okay.
Well, come on then.
Right. Now, you know, I'm like, okay, whatever that means. And so, you know, I guess that means get busy doing things you enjoy, focusing on you, and then it comes. And I do believe that we are what we attract, you know, so if we attract certain things, there is an energy that drew them. I always say you can't control who's attracted to you, but you can control what you choose to entertain. And so if people be like, oh, I just keep attracting these men who are abusive, but why? What in you entertained that? Like, what did you overlook? What red flags did you choose not to see or ignore? So again, we can't control what's attracted to us, but we have to take full responsibility for the people we choose to entertain and the relationships we choose to engage ourselves in, and the red flags we ignore. And so, you know, dating is collecting data, and divorce can be scary. Divorce is a grief. You know, it is a loss. It is a loss. It is a death. I always say divorce is a death. It's a death of a marriage. It's a death of hopes, dreams, a future you had planned for you and your partner. And it's important that we treat it as such, that we allow ourselves time to grieve, that we allow ourselves the grace to grieve. If you were the reason why the marriage failed, okay, own some of it, not all of it, but
Yeah,
own
it was
some
some
of
of
it.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, acknowledge.
Absolutely.
I mean, I own up to it because I'm so stubborn. I mean, a Leo was married to a tourist, y'all. It was a mess.
Okay, I don't know much about that. What does that mean?
Girl, a lion and a bull. Just think about it.
Yeah.
Too
Because
dominant.
if you put your horns down, I'm putting my paws out. What we doing?
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just think about the animals, and it was just like sometimes I would just have to be like, but why do I always have to be the one to give in
Mhm.
for the sake of
Yeah.
everybody being happy? And that's what I'm saying. Like relationships, I mean, not just marriage, but our relationships require you putting somebody first sometimes. And it's hard. It's hard. And when it
Yeah.
folds up, it just make you feel like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's wrong
So
with
true.
me?
So true. So what advice? I know we're a little over time, but I'd like to end with us just giving some advice. What advice would you give a person or a woman who's currently going through a divorce and just trying to just navigate this space?
Yeah.
Mainly, if you have a higher power, because everybody doesn't. But I can say for me, my relationship with God, my relationship with my ancestors, and a lot of people don't talk about that, but when I started digging into the women who came before me and how they navigated these man streets, and knowing that for them it was a lot of necessity versus actual love, it helped me to turn myself and focus on myself. So I'm going to tell people, as selfish as it may seem, you have to tell people, I'm focusing on myself right now. Even your own kids. Sometimes you be like, I don't have the energy to deal with your bull crap today because I'm focusing on myself. And when you start focusing on yourself, what makes Carla happy? 2 cups of coffee in the morning, a movie, a bottle of wine, a walk in the park. Start dating yourself. I literally started doing all the stuff for myself that I wanted a man to do for me. And that's where I'm at in my life. Like, I'm going to be 50 next month. I'll be 50 next month.
Right.
And I'm just like, I'm at this place of peace. Because I did survive divorce. And it's so weird. Like I said, when I heard you say that, that just made me be like, I'm a divorce survivor. Like, really a survivor. It's because you don't realize it is something you survive. It's not what people think it is,
Right. Yep.
And just love yourself. And it's okay that it didn't work out. It doesn't make you any less of a man or a woman that your marriage didn't work, because to be in something that's not God ordained, because to me, that's what marriage is about. God ordained it, right? But if you out here in these marriage streets with somebody that God did not ordain you to be with, it's gonna fail from the get up.
Right. Yep.
So have the patience to wait for God to say, that's him, not you. God said, or whomever you believe in, Allah, whatever. I always tell people, you will know. It'll be more than just you lusting after that person.
That's good advice. That's good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carla. Lisa, what advice would you give a man or a woman who's currently walking through divorce?
Figure out what it takes to love yourself. Whatever that may look like. Diving into prayer, diving into conversation with your friends, crying, screaming, self-care, time alone, really feeling the loneliness. That was the hardest part for me, having somebody by your side for 18 years to nothing but your kids. And Carla talked about that earlier. Being in that dark, lonely space and feeling what that loneliness feels like. And absorbing all those emotions, learning how to love yourself with whatever comes with the process.
Nice. I always tell my clients, we want to feel the void, FEEL versus feel the void, FILL. A lot of times we want to run from those heavy emotions and just do something to distract ourselves. But I say, no, feel, FEEL, that void, and then find ways to work yourself through it. So I love it. I love it. Again, people are getting divorced as we speak, but there is obviously life after divorce. We can survive and thrive
Yes.
through divorce.
Thrive.
Yes. And love will come. If you want it, great. If you don't, fine. But love will come again. But in the meantime, love yourself, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Lisa, for your sharing your life with us. Yes, thank you. Thank you for everybody who watched. And I look forward to next week. I don't know what I'm talking about next week, but it's going to be another great topic with more great people. So
this was so fun.
Thank you so much, Dr. Z. You were amazing as usual. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to claim the doctor part. Thank you.
Come on, doctor. Future doctor.
Yes, love it. Okay, ladies. Happy Saturday. Y'all have a good rest of the weekend.
You too.
All right, you too.
Bye.